Okay, so if you look at the structure of the heart, we do know that the heart is involved in the cardiovascular system. Basically, they are going to the heart is going to pump the blood, right? From basically share between the pulmonary circuits as well as the systemic circuits. Okay, so it means that we do need the heart to actually to pump the blood, okay, from one regions to another regions. Okay, so let us look at what are the blood vessel. The great, okay, in this case, we still have a small minor vessel, but we do have four very important great vessel. So they are pulmonary vein, vena cava. So both are the veins. So it means that they bring the blood into the heart. Okay, this great vessel bring the blood into the heart. And for those who bring the blood away from the heart will be our artery. So pulmonary artery and also the aorta. Okay, so let's look at one by one. So for vena cava, we do have two of them. One's from the top down, another one from bottom up. Top down, we call them as superior vena cava. Bottom up is inferior vena cava. Okay, so with this superior and inferior vena cava, they actually returns the deoxygenated blood from the body into the heart, emptying into the right atrium. And if you look at the structure between the vena cava and also the right atrium, that is not, we won't see the valve, so not separated by the valve. If you look at the aorta and also the pulmonary artery, then yes, they do have this valve. Okay, how about aorta? Aorta, we do know that they are the largest artery in our systemic circulations. Okay, same goes to the vena cava. Okay, vena cava actually they are the largest, okay, vein in systemic circulation. So for aorta, we do know that they carry the oxygenated blood to the systemic circulations, and between the ventricle and also this aorta, we do have this aortic valve, or we call semilunar valve, aortic valve or semilunar valve. And we do know that the ascending aorta lies between the heart and the arch of the aorta. And this arch of the aorta, the arch of the aorta will break into three branches. So one is the carotid artery, brachiocephalic trunks, and also the left subclavian artery. So they will branch into these three, and then another one will continue with this descending aorta. Is a section of the from the arch down to the common iliac artery and subdivided into the thoracic and abdominal aorta. So you go down. So for us, you do not need to know the detail about this. I'm going to show you the diagrams later, what it means by the peak of aorta, where is the peak of aorta, where is the arch of aorta, and also what the descending aorta as well. Okay, Okay, let's look at this diagram and see where is those ascending aorta, because we do know that this part is the left ventricle. So it means that this is our ascending. So ascending and then continue to the arch. So this is the arch of the aorta. Can I say the arch aorta? So arch aorta actually divided into three. Can I say subdivided into the three branches, and then you have the descending. So the descending one will be the one that supply the blood to the rest of our body. Okay, Okay, so now we look at this pulmonary vein. So pulmonary veins is part of, as we know, that is a part of the pulmonary circulations, but they bring the oxygenated blood from the lung to the left atriums of the heart. Okay, and we do have the pulmonary artery. Is the one that carry deoxygenated blood from the right ventricle into the alveolar capillary. Okay, and we do have this semilunar valve, or we call it pulmonary valve, which actually prevents the backflow of the blood back into the ventricle. So I use a box to represent. What actually happens to our heart. So 4 chamber. So 1 chamber, 2nd chamber, okay, 3rd chamber, and the 4th chamber. So this ventricle, they are separated by the septum. Okay. Can? Then we do know that, okay, so this is the part where the blood vessel enter. So just a very simple diagram. So it's not the real actual representations of the heart. So we do know that the first blood vessel that enter into the right atrium, okay, right atrium, right ventricle. This is the left atrium, left ventricle. Okay, so the first blood vessel that enter, okay, or pass the blood into our right atrium is termed as the vena cava. Okay, singular. But in fact, we have two. We have the superior and inferior. Okay, superior and inferior. So the blood enter. So I use a blue color to indicate that it's a deoxygenated blood. Okay. The deoxygenated bloods enter from here. And along the vena cava, we can see that because they are the vein, so we need to have the valve. So the valve here actually prevents the backflow of the blood, okay, along the vena cava. Okay, so this valve is termed as semilunar valve. Okay, this valve is termed as semilunar valve. So you can see that the blood actually, because we do know that the blood can backflow, right? Because of the squeezing of the, the contractions of our muscles squeeze the blood. Right now, so this blood will enter into the right atrium. Okay, so vena cava. But you can see that the regions here between the right atrium, can I see that the right atrium and the vena cava, there is no semilunar valve. Are you clear? Can you see that there is no semilunar valve? So then right atrium contract will pass the blood to the right ventricle. So the blood vessel now will bring the blood out of the heart. So the also deoxygenated blood, because it's bringing out of the heart. So this one is the artery. So the name of artery here is the pulmonary artery. So between the pulmonary artery and the right ventricle or the heart here, we do have a valve also. Oh, sorry, reverse, wrong directions. So we have the valve. So this also termed as semilunar valve. Okay, this one. So this is semilunar valve, also known as pulmonary valve. Okay, so this valve is very important to prevent the backflow of the blood from the artery back into the right ventricle. Okay. Now, next, we do have the bloods that enter into the left atrium. So this blood actually, I use a red color because it's an oxygenated blood. From the lung. Okay, oxygenated bloods enter. So this blood vessel is known as the pulmonary vein. Okay, bring in the oxygenated blood, and these bloods enter into the left ventricle and then continue out. Correct or not? So this blood vessel is known as aorta. Okay, so the oxygenated bloods will pump into the systemic circuit. Okay, and to prevent the backflow of the blood from aorta back into the left ventricle, then we need to have the semilunar valve again. So this semilunar valve is termed as aortic valve. Are you clear? It's termed as aortic valve. Oh, my mistake here, I put brackets. Okay. Can you see that? Then we still have a set of valve termed as AV valve. Okay, AV valve. So we have tricuspid valve here and bicuspid valve. Okay. So all of them is termed as the AV valve, atrioventricular valve. So here, because we have 3 cups here, so we call it as a tricuspid valve. And this one only got 2, so it also a part of AV valve, also known term as bicuspid valve or mitral. Okay, valve. Are you clear? So this is how the blood circulation actually take place in 4 major veins on artery or blood vessel that connected or associated with our hearts. Okay, so who are them? Okay, who are them? So first we have the vena cava. Second, we have pulmonary artery. Both actually carry. Okay, and then we have the pulmonary vein, and we have the aorta. So both of them carry oxygenated blood. Okay, so if you need, you can actually take a photo of the. Okay, so now how about the heart? The hearts have to receive the blood supply also, because as we know that the blood flow inside the heart is very fast. Second, also the thickness is too thick. If you follow or you just I would say that it will just depends or relies on the bloods that enter, the oxygenated bloods that enter into the left atrium and the left ventricle, and the process is so fast you won't be able to get sufficient nutrients from these bloods. So it means that the heart have to supply with the additional blood vessel known as the coronary artery. Okay, so the aorta and the aorta actually branch off into 2 main coronary artery now, and this coronary artery will supply the oxygen-rich blood or oxygenated blood to the heart muscle together with the nutrients. Okay, so this artery actually, when we are healthy, we are capable to auto-regulate to maintain the coronary blood flow, whether you want to have more blood enter into the heart through this for the cardiac muscle, or you want to have less blood. So this aorta, as I say, that they are muscular. Okay, this coronary artery, they are muscular artery, so they have the muscle cells or smooth muscle cells to regulate the diameter. Okay, so how much blood to enter into the cardiac muscle there. Okay, so not cardiac muscle, but basically into the heart, the wall of the heart. Okay, and they are relatively narrow. Why narrow? Because we do know that for all artery, they do have the thick wall to lumen ratio, right? Thick wall to lumens ratio. So it means that if the wall thick, lumen is small, so it means that the lumens are generally narrow. So if narrow, what will happen here is, if there is any damage to this, the lining, the tunica intima lining, okay? So for example, carbon monoxide, nicotine, when you take, that means you inhale in, that means cigarettes. So these nicotines will have the ability to damage the internal linings of your coronary artery. But not only coronary artery, but if they happen in coronary artery, then we do have the repair mechanism. But this repair will allow the depositions of the fat, cholesterol, okay, to this damaged site. So over a long period of times, then your blood vessel become narrow and narrower due to the build-up of this plaque, or what we call it as the arterioma. Then it will result in the arteriosclerosis. Basically means that the blockage of your the coronary artery. When there is a blockage in the coronary artery, what will happen here? It will cause angina, chest pain. Means not so severe. If you have chest pain during the mild exercise, you better get a check. Okay. If no, it's prolonged, it will develop into the heart attack, or we call it myocardium infarctions, MI. So MI is acute. So it means that within few seconds, you will die already. You try to imagine that the heart cannot get sufficient oxygen. They switch from the aerobic to anaerobic. So anaerobic respiration actually produce lactic acid, which will actually toxic to the cardiac muscle. So therefore, the heart attack will cause the stop pumping, the heart stop pumping, then the rest of body also will receive the blood supply. So immediately you collapse and bye-bye. They say bye-bye to this world, okay, when it's acute. We do have the heart failure. That means that prolonged damage to the heart because lack of oxygen, the supply of oxygen is not enough, okay? It's not totally don't have, but small quantity. Therefore, heart failure take place, okay? So this is also another possible outcome when the coronary artery is blocked by this atheroma, okay? So now, spend about 5 minutes to complete these diagrams, okay, to label the various main blood vessels that are associated with the heart. So for these diagrams, let us label the main blood vessel associated with the heart, okay, the mammalian heart, okay, on this figure 6.25, okay, figure 6.25. So now, first, okay, we follow the sequence, okay. Let's say the blood that enter in through the vena cava, okay. So we have the one from the top down, another one from the bottom up. So top down, we call them as a superior vena cava. From the bottom up, inferior vena cava. But the question here is, if the question asks you to label, do we need to label superior and inferior? The answer, not necessary. If you remember, then put it in. If no, just vena cava. Okay. So the vena cava enter already. Okay. Bring the blood into our right atrium. Right atrium. From the right atrium, then enter into the right ventricle. So the right ventricle actually contract to send the blood out of the ventricle into the pulmonary artery. So pulmonary artery in this case branch to the left and branch to the right. Okay, so we have the left pulmonary artery and right pulmonary artery. The blue color here indicates that the blood is deoxygenated. Okay, so let us look at the answer here. We do have the right pulmonary artery and also the left pulmonary artery. Okay, so then these bloods will enter into the lung, so become oxygenated, come back from left and also the right lung. So therefore, they come back as the vein. So oxygenated blood enter through the left pulmonary veins and also the right pulmonary vein connects to the right atrium. So on the right atrium, then they will enter into the right ventricle. Then we pump the blood out. We pump the blood out of the heart again through this elastic. Okay, through this elastic artery named as aorta. Okay. Now we do have another two here, which belongs to the coronary, coronary circulations. We have two, from the aorta. We branch out two. Can you see that? Branch out two. So one to the right side, another one to the left side of the heart. So we have the right coronary artery and left coronary artery. Okay, so with this, I have done for the all blood vessel that associated with the heart. Not all, but major blood vessel that associated with the heart. Okay, because here we didn't put in, we didn't label. Can you see the blue color? The blue color actually one is the right. Can you see that? The right coronary vein, and we have the right coronary, left coronary vein, and also the right coronary vein. Are you clear? And we do have a small capillary as well to supply the blood to our cardiac muscle. Okay, so with this, I have done for the blood vessel associated with the heart. Okay, so I'm off the record now.